watching the flows, watching the news. The news couldn't be any crazier at this point, to be honest with you. But anyway, with that being said, though, if you haven't noticed, we've been bleeding a lot the past 2 weeks. What I've kind of noticed is we were constantly looking to see if Barry Silbert was like fully bled out, and it looked like he was for a while, and then it started wiggling and moving back. There were some bad days. You saw some actual sells from BlackRock. We saw Fidelity dump for the most part, but I'm kind of starting to look back at, is Grayscale fully bled out? And I don't have my homemade chart, but I shout out CoinGlass. I have this one. Shout out Farside for all this data. We've been on a pretty decent streak of selling, and now we've had 2 days so far of actual positive, which we're just chopping, I guess. But the point is we're starting to also need to look at Coinbase or Grayscale again. Remember, Grayscale started with 400,000, 500. They had a lot more than what this chart shows. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, I want to zoom out. There's your ETF. Let me zoom out to today. Right here, peak was 620,000 Bitcoin is what Silbert had in the Grayscale Trust. And then the ETF was approved, and then it started dying. And the one thing that we've been watching for a long time is seeing when this thing is dead. We wanted to see officially, when is he bled out? Because eventually these numbers are going to bottom, and then they're going to start climbing. Especially with Grayscale coming up with lowering fees. Now, they haven't done it yet, but the point is we had a lot of the bleeding done. We went from 600 all the way down to kind of down here, which is around 290. And then we actually started having some positive days. But we're starting to see it bleed again. These are the past 2 weeks, May, June, past 2 months. It's still kind of creeping down. And we know this won't go to zero. We also know we can't go below zero. But somewhere here there's a floor, and we're just gonna keep watching it until we get a steady trend. For little glimpses, it looked like we might have been bottom. We had some positive days on Grayscale, but we don't have it yet. So we've got to keep watching this until it kind of turns, and it'll be kind of nice to see it when it does. And I would like to see this become a net inflower, because until then, it's still 275,000 Bitcoin that could be held over our head and dumped by them. So we gotta be chill with that. So anyway, moving on.